The little girl has been underground for 58 hours when she fell into a well. Jessica McClure, famous as Baby Jessica, had spent 58 terrific hours underground in a well. Now, being 30, she's still stuck in the public's consciousness while the details of that ordeal leave us all shocked. Being an adult, Jessica is finally ready to face the after effects of the accident that changed her life. It was just a fraction of time that it changed Jessica's life forever. On October 14, 1987, the 18-month-old baby was walking around her aunt's backyard when the phone rang. Her mother decided to answer, and at that moment, Jessica fell. The well she toppled into was 8 inches in diameter and 22 feet below the ground. The girl got stuck in the well casing with one leg high above her head. Obviously, she started crying, and this sound would be the one that symbolizes one of the detriment moments of the 1980s. All the people, news outlets, and newspaper officials immediately got to know what had happened. In a short period of time, the backyard was overrun with paramedics, police, and firefighters. This engrossing story was just perfect for the 6 o'clock news. Unfortunately, saving the girl proved to be much more complicated than everybody had suggested. Rescuers planned to bore a hole in a shaft parallel to the well, and then a right angle across to Jessica hit a snag. The workers realized their tools weren't strong enough to pierce the solid rock around the well. All the people there had to be extremely creative and super fast. They started brainstorming when suddenly someone proposed the water jet cutting. This process was quite new at that time and meant to cut through stone, metal, and granite by using a very high-pressure jet of water. The only problem was that between Jessica and the dangerous water jet was the stone. The situation was very delicate and dangerous. The only thing that indicated Jessica was still alive was her cry and singing. Yes, the little girl was singing songs like Winnie the Pooh when she was not shedding tears. Thousands of people were watching her on TV and in real life. Just in one night, little Jessica with her family became popular worldwide. People started donating money from all over the country. A lot of strangers called the local news centers to inform them they were in a similar situation. Meanwhile, the new people were gathering in the backyard, hoping to lend a helping hand to baby Jessica's rescue. While a lot of kind people were trying to help Jessica, there was one brave man who did a real thing. He went down the shaft himself. Robert O'Donnell inched his way through the mud to get Jessica out. The image of him holding her high in his hands, finally free, wound up winning a Pulitzer Prize. Even though the horrific ordeal was over, Jessica had to face gruesome consequences later in her life. Ronald Reagan's claim that everybody in America became godmothers and godfathers to Jessica throughout the rescue only rang true for so long. To be honest, all of those people helping and watching a 58-hour rescue process went home to continue living their ordinary lives when it was over. The McClures had to cope with the aftermath, which had both high points and low points. They proved to be the most painful. The high points were amazing. The family's renown brought them to live with Regis and Kathy Lee, and a TV movie was made starring Patty Duke and Beau Bridges. The family even met George H.W. Bush and got $1 million in donations that were put into a trust fund for Jessica. The low points were awful. After being more than 2 days underground with her foot high above her head, Jessica was left with serious physical effects. The girl lost a toe, and her entire foot had to be dreadfully reconstructed. She got a large scar on her face that started from her hairline to the bridge of her nose. The only positive thing was that the girl was too young to remember what had happened to her. Thus, she didn't remember the pain she felt during those harrowing 58 hours being underground. However, a few years later, Jessica asked who the little girl trapped in the well was when watching an episode of Rescue 911. That's when she got to know the truth and finally figured out who she truly was. At that moment, the girl's parents, who were only 18 when the accident happened, were getting divorced. Now, being a 34-year-old woman, Jessica has her own family with 2 kids. She is finally ready to share what was going on when the cameras left her life for always. The term Baby Jessica is still an everyday thing, she told People. In the years after the accident, she had to undergo 15 surgeries. Even though most of them were paid for by donations, the money couldn't last forever. She had over $1.2 million in a trust fund, but the stock market crashed in 2008 and left Jessica with about $300,000. When the girl grew up, she saved that money, which was a really great decision. When my husband and I first started dating, he did not know who I was, she explained to People. When she told him who she was, everything puzzled out and fell into place. About a month into our relationship, we were already engaged, Jessica continued. Thanks to the money left over from the trust fund, the woman with her husband were able to buy their home. It is located just 2 miles from where Jessica's life turned upside down back in 1987. Can you believe it? How strong does the person have to be to live near the place that made her suffer that much? What's more, Jessica isn't the only one who faced the consequences after that gruesome accident. Robert O'Donnell, who lifted her out of the well, suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder due to the incident. He ended up taking his own life in 1995. Nowadays, Jessica lives a relatively ordinary life with her loving family. However, the woman will never really manage to shake the fame she got almost 30 years ago. By the way, on the 30th anniversary of her saving, Jessica plucked up the courage and paid a visit to the fateful well for the first time in years. Seeing the well for the first time, it was hard, but it wasn't upsetting, she told People. In fact, 18-month-old Jessica and an adult Jessica are 2 different people who are both survivors. To me, it's a symbol that it could have taken my life, but it didn't, the woman added.